Good evening. Call to order the regular City Council meeting on Wednesday, February 14th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. We will start out with some standard agenda items. We need approval of the January 24th, 2024 City Council meeting minutes. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. Passes 5-0. Thank you. And 1B, approval of the February 14, 2024 claims for payment. Any questions? If not, if we could have a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve the claims.
And a second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
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 And those opposed, no. Passes 5-0. At this time, we have open business from the community. Is there anyone that would like to speak tonight? Yes, please. If you would step up, yes. And then if you would push the little button at the bottom of the microphone to get a green light.
Testing. Good evening. My name is Myra, and this is my husband, Juan Garcia. We're the owners of the Hispanic grocery store in Hawarden. We're here tonight as a voice for the Hispanic community regarding the appointment of Cody as the chief of police for Hawarden. We know when the community found out that he had not been given the position at the last meeting, they voiced their disappointment to us, and that's when we decided to gather signatures to present to you tonight. We have here close to 80 signatures gathered in about 3 weeks' time. Our community has a lot of respect for Cody and really appreciate the good job he's been doing. I am now going to echo some of the words that were said to us by those petitioners. He's been very fair. He's always out patrolling and doing a good job. The city would be a mess if he weren't here, and we have a lot of respect for him. Cody has proven himself a very valuable asset to the city of Hawarden, whether he resides here or not, and we would like to persuade the council members to give their vote to appoint Cody as a chief of police when the time comes again. We feel he is genuinely and hard-earned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The signatures, can I leave them?
And like before, I don't know if I say this or not, we have Cody Utek, if I say his name right. He has he feel things against us. They cause me a lot of problemas.
Cost, money, problems, a lot of...
And I guess when they come and talk to him, he only has a feeling that those Hispanics were doing something wrong. And I faced him, and he was a really bad deal. He told me how bad I was because my last name is Deanda, and he knows some people related to Deandas. And so if I'm related to them, I have to be a bad guy. He told me straight on my face. So yeah, Cody, he's out there doing his job. He's not at the coffee place all the time or here, there, and there for hours. He's patrolling and doing his job.
So we just wanted to voice our...
That's good.
Yep.
And thank you. And we want you treated fairly, just like anybody else. We want you to know that.
Anyone else want to speak? Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the mayor's report. To give you an update on the police chief search, we did have a committee consisting of Patty, Rob, Christy, and Johnny Milliken and myself. We reviewed applications and resumes. We selected 3 finalists and interviewed all 3. All are strong candidates, in my opinion. An appointment will be made and presented to the council for approval at our next meeting. Want to congratulate Derek Allen and Payne Allen for being awarded Fireman of the Year at the Fireman's Ball. We also congratulate the other firemen who received awards that night. And I want to express our deepest appreciation for everyone who serves on the fire department. It takes a lot of time, training, and dedication, and we are grateful for all that you do. I'd like to thank Jacob Stoner, our financial officer and acting city administrator, for his service in the Guard. He's juggling the city's financial business, the city administrator job, and his responsibilities serving in the Guard. He's absent tonight because he's off with the Guard, and he'll be serving in Germany for about a year. Because of this, the gals in the office and others have taken on additional and new duties to help cover for Jacob's absence. Thanks goes out to Tracy, Erica, Leslie, Shady, and also Travis and Carol are picking up some extra work. We see you and appreciate you. And we expect to have a contract for a part-time interim city administrator for the council to consider at our next meeting. And that's all I have. We'll move on to staff reports. Travis, do you have?
Nothing in this report. I have quite a bit
Yeah,
in the meeting.
yeah. And Carol?
We've been busy working on the housing contracts for the improvements this summer. It was my goal to add a couple additional contractors that would bid the projects. It is a requirement of the program to have at least 2 bids. I was successful with that. We were able to get another contractor, which is excellent news. So we'll be able to move forward with a couple housing rehab projects and clean up some of our neighborhoods. The USDA grants continue to come in. The revolving loan fund will be sent in here pretty quick, and hopefully that one goes through without any questions. We're working with the CAPS program. They have chosen to work with the events complex out where we have our softball games for the middle school. They've chosen to take on that project, so if anyone has any suggestions of events they'd like to see out there, the goal is to find some more uses for that area. It's a wonderful, wide-open area. It's cleaned up by the city every week, so we'd like to see some people using it, whether it be softball tournaments, egg hunts. We don't care. We just would like to see some more activity out there. Maybe get some grants to do a little more beautification to that area. I think would bring some traffic as well. We're continuing to work with the food pantry to find a relocation for them. That's been a little challenging. We've offered a couple things to them, so hopefully we'll hear back pretty soon. Building permits is becoming a little bit of an issue in our downtown area, and we have to get the ones filed from last year to the county. So we're going to continue to work with the building permits. I personally think they should be a little bit higher priced. We should have a little more cost to them, and I think a little more follow-up should be done with them. And we have put in for 2 police grants. So hopefully we will start to hear something back. They were called micro grants. They are not the big grants that fund the personnel, but at least trying to figure out and navigate the COPS program so that I know how to put in the actual grants. So that's about it.
Is that like for equipment?
Um,
Similar, I mean,
Yes,
it's
the
usually-
micro grants are, and they're actually ones that already have set-asides for the equipment, like or the state has already purchased, or the federal government has already purchased 20,000 units. So.
And they want you to have one.
Right, if you can get your name in there, it's a little bit more possible. They still are very competitive.
Okay.
Thank you, Carol. Jenny, do you have anything tonight? Okay. Yes, you bet. Moving on to council comments. I'll open that up to anyone who wants to comment. Council?
I have none, thanks.
A year ago, we talked about the audiovisual in here, and nothing has been done since. And it's deplorable. If anybody's tried to watch this, it's impossible to keep track of what's going on or who's saying what. It was on the agenda or on the bills for last year, but nothing got done. And I would like to see that formally in this year's budget and dealt with.
We can look into, I know I've had a lot of people say they can't hear.
Yeah, yeah.
Or turn your mic or put it up close, but.
Right.
and
And,
they-
and seeing is
Yeah,
impossible.
yeah,
But,
that's what they're saying. That's
yeah,
what we look into.
I agree with you. We
Yeah.
will follow up on that. Monty, do you have any suggestions on kind of equipment or, no, okay.
We can look back, I believe, I believe there was a quote on some equipment,
Okay.
and I think it just got
Yeah.
dropped during the transition. So
Yeah.
we can circle back to that and
Yeah. that'd be
continue
good.
with it.
Very good. Okay, if there's nothing else, we're going to move on to other agenda items. Number 3, we've got the Hawarden Arts Council here. Welcome.
Okay, as those are getting passed around, just kind of a visual of what the Arts Council is in the early stages of planning an instrument garden. This project aligns with our mission to organize and encourage interest and participation in the visual and performing arts. An instrument garden would be accessible to all because it'd almost be like a mini park. The area we're looking at doing it is that north grassy area, north of the library parking lot. There's like a little bench and stuff there now. I'm not 100% if that's library-owned, city-owned, who we even need to go to
That
ask.
would be city-owned.
Okay.
Yep.
So I guess at that point, then we're kind of asking for your blessing if that's something you'd be interested in supporting. I've written a grant, we're waiting to hear back from that for the equipment, so we're kind of trying to get all our ducks in a row with that. But if that's not someplace we can put it, I guess we can keep looking at locations, but we thought that'd be a good location where kids can access it easily when they're leaving, coming and going from the library. So just some food for thought. Hopefully, if we get the grant, we can have it in by this summer.
I do like the idea. I've seen them other places. They really are used.
Yeah, the one that I can think of that is the biggest one around here is up by Arnold's Park.
Or I know
Yeah.
that one's really, people are always on it.
Yeah, and it's so easy to use, and it's
I even
just,
did it.
right? I mean, it's fun. So,
The kid in me.
yeah.
Picture of that somewhere.
Probably.
So yeah, just a fun little musical community project that we're looking at doing. But
Yeah, I do like that one.
as long as we can use that space.
I don't like.
You know, utility-wise, I think it's wide open.
I didn't know if we would
Sprinkler
have to do
lines,
like a digging
Permit.
permit or anything like that, or have one call.
Yeah, if you're gonna, looks
you're
like
gonna
they go
dig,
in the
you go
ground, so.
Yeah, because the ones that I did the quote for the grant were in-ground
Yep.
installation instead of concrete. So, just so you're aware of what we're planning and hopefully can follow through with.
Yeah. When do you need an answer for that?
It's all kind of up in the air. I wish I had a better answer. The grant proposals, I believe, are approved next month, so we'll know more once we know if we receive the grant or not. So after that, and then,
Okay.
yeah.
Why don't you let us know when we're ready to go ahead, and then
Okay.
we'll put it on the agenda. and
Perfect.
Have a council vote on that.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 4 is an update, the council on the MRES rate study, Missouri River
Energy
Energy
service.
Service. Okay, thank you.
Last Wednesday, I met with Evan Liebens, to discuss their initial findings on their rate study. Initial recommendation was for a 6% increase in each year, FY '25, '26, and '27. Before the increases, obviously, in '26 and '27, we would reevaluate our financials, and Missouri River Energy Service would assist in that, and then make another recommendation for that year. So they do a 3-year proposal, and then they'd come back and look at every year, and that's part of the cost, the initial cost, so there's no extra there. We have 3 things kind of going against our electric rates right now. First is the new debt that'll be added for the substation. Second is the rising cost of the purchased electricity from WAPA and MRES. There's estimated increases for the next 3 years. I'll let Evan speak to those next month. Next council meeting on the 28th. He'll be here to present his full study. And along with that, the third is the payment from the telephone that's been making payments to the electric fund. That'll be over in 2026 with a half payment due in 2027. So good news for telephone. Not so good news for electric because that money was used as it came in. So like I said, full presentation will be next council meeting. And there's some slides. They were in your council packets. It kind of shows just a couple slides of where our current rates are on residential, commercial, and large commercial, to where we are currently and where the 25 proposal puts us. You'll see on like residential, we're quite low, and the proposed increase will put us a little more towards the middle. Small commercial, we're on the middle to low middle, and that'll put us a little bit higher. And same with the large commercial. I think we would have been looking at increases anyway based on the telephone and the rising price to purchase the electricity, and now the debt for the substation too. One good thing to note too is the substation is the last of our big upgrades for electricity. I mean, we got all new underground substation, transmission line coming into town, so we'll be set for quite a while.
Years, decades,
Yeah.
yes.
And you have noticed a lot of less outages as well with that over the years as we transition to that underground, so I think it was money well spent.
I know Missouri River Energy Services, when they go to Washington here at the end of February, that is one of the items is the electric rates and the way, they keep increasing them. And that's one of the things they're going to be talking about. The other one is the long time to get equipment, like we did for
Oh.
our substation
Yep.
and even telecom. That, because, you have a utility to run and then you can't get the equipment.
Yeah.
So they're going to really press those two things
Yeah, that's
when
good.
they go.
We just found out today that just a regular house gas meter is 75 to 80 weeks out.
I'd like to get those, I'd like to get those from you because I'm going to personally talk about that.
Sure.
Because they want to hear from the cities, municipalities, and their hardships they're facing with purchasing equipment, waiting a year, not getting, just being detained. So that would be a good, yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the cost, you can't get it, electric rates, they're really going to horn in on that.
Okay, anything else on that? Let's move on to number 5. This is a resolution 2024-06, fixing a date for a public hearing on a proposal to enter into an electric revenue loan agreement and to borrow money thereunder in a principal amount not to exceed $5,900,000. At the request of Dorsey and Whitney to set a public hearing for February 28th to stay on schedule for issuing revenue bonds. Is there any discussion? Questions? Got it. Motion, right? From
I'll
Monty.
second it.
Okay. A motion and a second. We'll have a roll call vote on this. Anderson.
Aye.
Harvey. Clucky.
Aye.
Warner.
Aye.
Allen. Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you. Number 6, approval of a change order number 1 to the 7th Street Substation construction contract with IES Commercial Incorporated. Travis, you want to tell us about this?
With the new substation, there'll be transmission line work that needs to be done. DGR was hoping that the construction contractor would have transmission capabilities, and we could utilize them to do the work when the time came, because they'll be finishing the substation, then the north transmission line needs to be cut and brought in to the substation. And then substation brings, energized and brought online, and then tested, and then it takes over the power for the city. Then we can de-energize the old substation, then we'll take the south feeder, transmission line feeder, and swing that into it, so it'll be a dual fed right at the substation. So we're real happy with the quote that they gave us, because they're the ones doing the work. They can be on site, get the north transmission line in, continue with their work, and then finish the south when they're done. They're not waiting on another contractor to hopefully show up on
Come in.
time, and then they have to come back. So the original engineer estimate was $160,000. So this quote was for $97,866.81. One other thing that might have brought the estimate down a little bit is we're able to reutilize some of those new poles, because the transmission line will be a little bit shorter, about 2 poles. So we'll be able to do the north side, reuse those poles and some of the insulators on the south line. So we're going to use as much as we can.
Any questions?
One last thing. With this in the substation estimate versus what the bids came in, the original estimate was $6,585,400, and the bid cost will be $5,094,507. So almost a $1.5 million less under
Great.
estimate.
That's
So,
good.
and that's including contingencies, engineering,
Sure.
all the testing. So we'll just
Good.
keep plugging along and keep it
Better
under.
than the other way.
Right, right.
Thanks for your work on that, Travis. Okay, if there's no other comments, would take a motion.
So,
Okay, Rob makes the motion. And a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Patty. We'll do a roll call vote again. Harvey? Clucky?
Aye.
Warner?
Aye.
Allen?
Aye.
And Anderson.
Aye.
Thank you. Passes 5-0. Number 7, the budget. Significant changes. I don't know what those changes are.
Well, Jacob, I think before he left, he emailed everybody copies of the budget and didn't really give me
Too much.
much direction to speak about. I guess it's just your time if you have any questions from those budget sheets that he emailed out to you. I will look at the electric and make those changes on MRS's enterprise, on their recommendations, because I just put a placeholder in there. I added 1 cent, 1.2 cents. So we'll make that.
Were we planning to maybe just go over it the 28th? I
think so.
I'm not,
Yeah,
maybe we just
Line
kinda
item, he's going to go through it a lot more then.
quickly go through. Some of those are going to be very similar, majority of them. If we could just kind of go through those, that would be good.
Yep.
Yep.
Then he can move forward.
Yeah. And I believe Jacob will be here next meeting,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
that'll
Yep.
be helpful. Anything else on that? We are down to our consent agenda. We've got a request from Dollar General for a Class B retail alcohol license renewal, and also Hawarden Golf Clubhouse for a liquor license transfer to the Hawarden Community Center on February 27th, 2024. Any questions, or we can take a motion?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
And a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no? Okay, passes 5-0. Thank you. Time for adjournment. Motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you. Rob,
Second.
and a second. Patty?
Move it along.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, 5-0. Thank you very much. We are adjourned. Our next regular council meeting is February 28th, 2024. Thank you for your attendance.